Hey everybody, Brian the writer here. I have been wanting to do for a little while now sort of a quick video on edits, and more edits. Now the reason that I wanted to do this particular video is because there's a lot of you out there who ask the question, well, how do you edit? How does one go about editing? First off, an old author once told me that for every day you write, figure 3 for editing. I thought they were crazy when I was first starting out. I'm here to tell you it's actually about right. Uh, it takes me about 2 months to write a good first draft in the 70,000 word category if I'm really hitting it hard. Um, it's working on it pretty solidly, and I am going to spend at least the next 8 to 9 months just on the editing process alone. I believe it was Hemingway that said something along the lines of good writing uh, is a lot of work or something like that. That was Hemingway or somebody, I forget who, but it's absolutely true. And if you want to get it right, that's what you have to do. So I'm going to go through essentially what are my steps in the editing process. Well, the first thing I do when I'm done with the first draft is I take a day off. I kick back, I drink a glass of wine, I relax a little bit, I enjoy myself. Because when you're done with your first draft, that is a reason to celebrate. Very important. Take your time, a little bit of self-care. Go sit in a hot tub for a while. Play video games, whatever your jam is, go do it. The next thing you need to do is, the next thing I do, and I suppose I should caveat all this by saying, if you ask about 20 different writers, you're probably going to get about 40 different ways in which to go about the editing process. No one is perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and none of them are the same, although they have very similar elements. So the next thing I do in the editing process is I open it up here on my almighty computer, give you a taste of what that sort of looks like. You can see it on the screen there. That's what the draft is, and this is actually the example I'm using for this editing process, so you know. So what you are going to end up doing is you're going to read. You're going to be reading your Word document. From start to finish. And I know it sounds a little nuts. You're like, oh my God, I am done with this. I don't want to see the words anymore. I know I feel that way. But start at the beginning and just read your way through. You are going to look for things like major plot holes. Let's say you had a character, or you intended to be a major character at the very beginning, but you don't mention them again until like the last 3 chapters. That's kind of a plot hole. There's no character development. You should really go back and think about how to drip them back in. Hopefully you don't have that problem. Another thing that you want to look at is, clear grammatical errors, things that really shouldn't be in there. You're never going to catch all of them. The mind is a funny thing. If you accidentally type something wrong and your brain knows what it's supposed to say, you can read it 1,000 times and you'll never catch it. So it's really important to take that time and look at it, read through it, and you might catch it, you might not, but give it a shot. So you've done your read through. Okay. The next thing I do in my process is I go through it again, but in paper copy. I actually print the whole thing off and I sit down and I read through it. I am looking for things, I'm trying to put myself in the mind of the reader. What is the reader going to see on the written page? And that sort of helps me get a better idea of what visually I might see that's sticking out to me. This is also probably a good time, so once you're done with reading it on the screen and before you print it off, maybe give yourself a good week. Go work on something else for a while. Try to divorce your brain a little bit from the themes and ideas that have vexed you now for months on end. Okay, so we have this thing printed off. We've read through it. We've made those corrections. Now comes the hard part. New writer. You have to print this thing off again, and you have to show it to somebody. Somebody else has to read through it at that point. I always have my wife. My wife is my first reader. I'll show you a little bit of what that looks like. Pardon me. So this is the copy of my latest book. It's the next in the Dean Cordain series. It's actually a novella, so it's not really full-on novel. And my wife makes little comments here and there. You can see this one. She just wrote "what" because I was writing a sentence and apparently I meant to put more there and I completely forgot. So she marked that. There's little errors here and there that she catches, so I make those changes on the page. After that part is over with, I actually, now I'm not endorsing a product. Don't get mad at me, unless of course they want to give me money. If they want to give me money, that's fine. I use AutoCrit, and I have a lifetime subscription to AutoCrit. I run it through there, and what AutoCrit allows me to do, it allows me to look at things like, okay, I love adjectives. Come on, who doesn't like adjectives? However, I add them too often. So it gets me in the mode of looking at the document clinically. So I load the document into AutoCrit, go through the whole process of evaluating. It takes a while. To be honest, it's not my favorite part of the process because it's just sort of hard work because you're literally rewriting things on the screen as you go on. Also, another tip with AutoCrit, for whatever reason, if you put in M dashes and you put it into AutoCrit, it will change the M dashes to 2 dash marks. So you got to go back and reformat that later on. Okay, so you're done with AutoCrit. So what do I do next? Well, the next thing I do is send it off to the beta readers. Now, beta readers are an integral part of any writing process. They are your people that look at your book with sort of a critical eye. So it really helps if you have some that are hypercritical and look at little things here and there. You don't want mean ones. You want beta readers who are going to give you some really good feedback. I include a little Word document to fill out so that people can tell me, hey, this is what I liked, this is what I not liked, I liked this character, hated this character, that kind of thing. So after they're done, I go through, make those corrections. Next step is get your editor involved. Now, I am a thorough, full, completely, I'm a believer in editors. They do a lot of hard work. I am, you've all heard me say before, I'm not very good at grammar. So I'm not going to try to be good at grammar, and I'm going to use an editor and have her, I use Xterra. Again, I'm not endorsing one or the other, but if people ask me who I would suggest for editing, I would say Xterra, because they do my work for me. Very helpful, very good stuff. Okay, hang on one second. I'm going to take a break. It's coffee, I promise. Maybe. So, now, we're done with editing. The editing process is over with. Xterra's gotten the changes back to me. Not done quite yet. There's one last step. Now, I use a website to convert files over into different formats. What I tend to do is I'll put it in like Mobi, and then I'll send it to myself for use on my Kindle. Now, I'm going to take you through a little bit of something here to show you what I mean. So this is my Kindle. This is my Paperwhite. I love my Paperwhite. So what you're seeing on the screen here, this is the next Dean Cordain book. This is Dean Cordain. I forget the name of it because my brain's not working right. But yes, the next Dean Cordain. I actually literally will sit down and read it. So I have my little paper stand here, right? And so let me show you what I'm going to take you to the Word document because that's what I open up. I read it. I open up on the Word document. So this is the Word document. I hope you're seeing it. This is the actual Word. So what I read on my Kindle was this up here, okay? Pro tip of the day. If you were in a fight, aim for the lower jaw. Now, I know that grammatically we're keeping it in the past tense. However, that sentence reads a little choppy to me. Because if you say pro tip of the day, you're actually suggesting that this is almost like a present tense stepping out of where you're at. So the sentence is a little bit clunky, although it's perfect, and although it's it's correct within in the parameters of being past tense. So what I'm going to do is, if you are in a fight, aim for the lower jaw. Yes, I know I'm not keeping with the past tense there, but at this point, it just reads better. To me, anyway, this is the way I want it. So that is the final step in my process. Now, how do I get a book to become a book? Well, you know what? That's going to be in another video. I'm not going to I'm not going to go into that right now. I've already taken up enough time on this. But anyway, you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching. Oh, and please, if you like this video, it's around here somewhere, click the little B marker, and remember to follow me. And all right, I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.